Hi and welcome to another post of this mk2 Jaguar wide-body two-door coupe. Because of the videos we've been doing, I've wanted to try and make them better so that I could give all the viewers a better idea of what I'm doing and being able to see it better. And so with my son and my wife, we decided we'd do a little investment and just try and jig this video and all the rest of them to be more, let's hopefully make it more entertaining in what it is I'm doing. So this is where we're going. So first you'll see me. I'm the author of this. All mates call me Jack, and so that was the idea of the channel, Jack the Lad. One of the things that we wanted to do, like I said, we wanted to make this better for the people who are watching, and not just the camera checking around and this until they'll get a better quality camera, better audio, because I've known some people have complained about the music in the background being too loud, and I get that, so I invested in a microphone as well. We'll continue as we try and get some more money to maybe get some lighting and stuff, and we'll just, like I said, we're just going to try and make this better. That was as part of his initial get going. We try to make this YouTube channel better. One of the things that I've noticed from my channel is all the positive comments. There's very few negative comments, and that's good, because the reason why I started the YouTube channel was to see what kind of feedback I got for doing something like this, especially to a mk2 Jaguar, which a lot of people would say it didn't need improving. It wasn't a case of improving it, it was to try and see what I could do to upgrade my skills, you could say, glean more understanding in panel making, and so this is the effort of trying to improve a broad spectrum of my skills. Instead of just putting panels on cars and making them look nice and tidy, I wanted to go into building things and modifying. So this is an exercise in that. So there's lots of things I've thrown at this, and there have been a number of people who asked me why this and why that. I won't go into that great detail yet. I'll probably do that later on, but it was mainly an exercise and to see, like I say, what kind of feedback I got. Now, one of the things that me and my wife wanted to do was continue to try and push this YouTube channel and, like I say, make it more interesting, maybe a little bit entertaining. I'm not a joker, but just try and make it better for people who are watching, and like I said, to continue getting feedback about the things I'm doing with this and other things I'm going to, or was going to start to do. Now, let me just take a break from the car and things at the moment and move to the things we wanted to do. So we were wanting to move up to Scotland, so I sell my home, and we've been looking at properties up in Scotland for some time. We wanted something with a big workshop, so we've been looking at small farms really, with some outbuildings, so that I could turn the outbuildings into workshops and work from there. So we've been looking at that. Then this COVID stupid happened, and it's progressively got worse. Not the COVID, but people's attitudes towards it, and the way the government's dealing now with the people and what's happening around the world. And so, it's something that me and my wife are looking at. Is my wife's Taiwanese, so we are looking to move into Taiwan. Now, this now makes it difficult for what I wanted to do initially with the mk2, and I've got other stuff. I've got a 101 Land Rover, and I've got another mk2 in the Carcoon here, which I was going to work on as well and make it all part of the channel, and other things we were wanting to do as well. Now we find that pretty much that'll probably be stopping. just because moving and everything, most of this stuff is going to have to go. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to shift all this to Taiwan. It's just a case of seeing what the government in this country is going to do. If it gets to a point where they're going to start force vaccinating people and things like that, that's not going to happen for me and my family. This is not a political rant or anything like that. It's the way I feel about what's happening to my country, which I love, but unfortunately it's going in the wrong direction and nobody seems to be making a stand. Or I should say, those who are in power. There are those who are taking a blind eye to what's going on, really, in my opinion. So for me and my family's safety and security and peace of mind, we will maybe move into Taiwan. So this might end earlier than later, but anyway, I'm still doing these things and we'll see how it goes, because I'd still love to go to Scotland and set up there and really get on with what I wanted to do with, and like I said, I've got lots of things. So that's my rant about what's going on and what might unfortunately happen. So this car might cease, and then if I can't get it to Taiwan, if I can't afford to get it there, then it will be sold, unfortunately. Same with the rest of my stuff, but we'll see. So what have I been doing with the Mark II? So we'll go and have a look over by the boot area, and I'll show you the panelling work I've been working on to panel it out, because I didn't just want a mat on and a couple of side panels and that's it, because there's a lot of things in there. The subs and the amps are in there for the sub and all the surround speaker systems, of which I've got in the car. So we'll go to the car and we'll see what we've been doing there. So boot area, what I've been doing in the boot, well, like I said, I'm panelling it all out. So one of the things which I had to assess was the floor. Because I put the diffuser in, there is no boot. The whole boot floor, and if you look back at one of my videos, you'll see roughly what I did in doing the boot floor. So all the boot floor was completely modified to get the diffuser in, and also because I put the IRS jag axle in, it had to come this way to the back as well by a couple of inches, I think it was. So there was a lot of modifying in the boot area, and also because the quarters which I made, the rear quarters, it moved it all out. So the whole boot area has been completely rebuilt except for this original panel here, the boot panel, but everything else is all rebuilt, everything inside and the whole lot. So I had to make a covering for it, side panels, a back panel, and I also had to make some cover to go over the wheel boxes. I didn't want to put some vinyl over the wheel boxes because of the reinforcing shapers in the wheel box. So I've had to do a lot of work in building panels. And I've also, on the inner panel that strengthens this rear slam panel here for the boot catch, it's a box section, that's all panelled off, and the lock has also been panelled off. So the whole thing will be panelled out, and there's some access doors and things like that. I haven't got it together yet, but I'll show you what I've got and what I've done, and then we'll go and have a look at the back panel where the amps are going on. So at the moment I'm working on wiring those up and setting everything up. I'm just waiting for a 125 amp breaker to go onto that panel. Once I've got that, then I can get everything and all the covers and stuff done there. So what have I done? These two panels here, which I made, so I use my shrinker stretcher to make these two panels, and these come on the reinforcing box section on the inside of the boot. So I made those two, and they go either side of the lock. I then made a cover to go over the lock. Now this is in two pieces. So when I took the measurements for, I didn't just want to have a square box over the top. I wanted it to look tidy. So that's what I came up with. So there's two pieces. So it's a steel frame covered in vinyl and some sponge, and an aluminium cover just to tidy it up. So I've got some captive nuts inside, which allows this aluminium cover to be fastened down. I made this, I did it on CAD, the drawing, to get a scale for a pattern to cut this out to make sure I got all the angles right. So from my measurements I did that, so I'll show you that. So that's my pattern, what I made to make this frame up. Once I got that, I stuck that onto a piece, I put that onto a piece of steel, and I just went round with the marker, and then I just cut it to the line from that. And then all the fold lines are in there. And then I folded it. I did some in my box pan folder and the others in the vise. Then it was just a little bit of tweaking to get it so it was right. Then once I got the frame made, I made this template to go sit on the top, so I knew where the lock catches. And then once I'd made that, I just planished over the edges, so it just wasn't a flat plate, it just goes over and it just makes a nice little tidy edging. So that was made by these, and this goes over and locks down these panels, so it sits like that, and that holds all that down. For the inside panelling, originally was fastened to the car. There's some reinforcing ribs, I'll call them ribs, that come down on the inside of the boot. I didn't want to put the panel up straight against that. I wanted something that I could take away from a piece I put in, so I made these. So same thing again. I joggled the edge, shrink a stretcher, used to give this curve here, and then once I got my shape and that fits in to there like that, and that will be screwed in from inside there. So the flange on the inside of this reinforcer just have some little screws, and that'll hold that up in place. Once that's in, then the wheel box covers. So I made 2 wheel box covers. So I made these on the English wheel. I was quite chuffed actually, because I didn't think I'd be able to get this shape in one go. I thought I was probably going to have to do it in half and join them together, but I didn't. I made it in one piece. So the way I made these was, there's a gentleman in America called Ray Chalane. You've probably heard of him. He builds cars and he does courses, and he's got what's called a flexible shape pattern, which I think is really quite a clever idea for making a known shape that you've already got. So I didn't have what I would call a known shape, because this is covering a wheel box, so it's a cover on top of the wheel box. So I made a rough, and it is rough, I made this rough piece of paper just to try and get the shape. So I've got that lofted area there on the paper. I made my first one on the offside. Once I got it roughed out and it was looking pretty good, I then made this, which looks pretty rough, and Ray Chalane's flexible shape pattern is way better than this, but it works. And the thing is, with this pattern, you can inverse it and make an opposite side, and it's one of the great things about this idea what Ray Chalane came up with. Also, you don't have to get the shape, each part perfect, you just need the area which has been lofted. So that's what I got with that. And also when I made it, I got all my outlines. So I got all my outlines sorted out, so when I come to do the other side, I could mark it out better. So that's how I came up and did these panels. Now these panels fit over the wheel box. They're screwed down to the boot floor, so I've got some woods in the boot floor to cushion the noise and also make a flat base for the panels to go on top. So these go over the wheel box. They're screwed down, and then the back panel, oh sorry, the back panel's in as well. Like I say, I'll show you the back panel. So the back panel comes up there, and then it's screwed to here. So you can see these plates I put on here and tapped them out. It's an M4, and it's just got some nice little screws, and the panel, it's an aluminium panel, will be fastened to that. This is fastened to the floor, and then same again here, some more plates with some M4 screws, which will fasten this panel here. So this panel here that screws on is, there with me, these panels here. Now these panels, this is where the interior light is that's going. It's just made out of MDF, some sponge, some set in there, I think it's 3mm, and then some vinyl. I wasn't going to do it in leather because it scratches a lot, and anything that's put in the boot, it's going to make a right mess of it. So vinyl's a lot better. So that sits inside. So just as that's sat in there, this will sit into there like that, and it's recessed. So you can see like that. So that's sit in there, and that then screws to this here. So that screws to that there, and that finishes that off like that, and that's same all the way around. Once these are in, put this down here, once these are in, the boot floor goes in. Now this is 2 pieces, so this piece is the near side. This access hole here is for the battery, of which is sat in the boot, and then this one here obviously is the near side. Let me just put this down. So this one here is access to the screen wash bottle, which is obviously in the boot, and just basic storage for anything. I'm going to put, because obviously the wheels are so big, there is no room in the boot for a spare wheel. I was thinking of trying to find a space saver to go in there, but there's still not a lot of room. So I'm going to put some of that expanding foamy stuff in for flats. And I'll just put a couple of bottles, little tins of that stuff in there, in a nice little carrier or something if there's a puncture. But I still probably will look for a space saver maybe, if I get to finish the car with what's going on. So that's all the boot area. I can't show you all made up because I've got a ton of wiring in here for the amps and the speaker sets. So until I get the panel, but you know, it's just all a mess, so there's no point putting to take it all back out. But when I've done it, I'll show you what I've got, and it looks quite good. I was going to do a cover for the boot lid, but and it's not something I really couldn't make, but I think really covering the boot inside the boot lid maybe a bit too much, I don't know. But it's a compound curve, it needs wheeling off, and for all the aggro, it's just, I don't think it's worth it. I think you open it up and you can see, and it's tied in, you can see the amps. Oh, also, I do have some rails somewhere. I've got some aluminium rails, some channel. Basically, if you've ever seen an E-type boot floor, they put some rails on, aluminium rails with some rubber inset into them. So when you put luggage and stuff like that in, it doesn't tear the vinyl. So it protects the boot floor vinyl from scraping. Those aluminium rails are what's going to fasten this flooring down, and they're going to be stationed out equally across the boot floor. They'll fasten the boot floor down, and it'll hold a lot of other pieces down in place as well that's going in there. So like this back paneling stuff, there's no screws in here. This boot floor covering holds all this down, so when it's screwed down, that'll hold it all down. So that's what I've got with that, which has been, it's taken some time. Plus me and my wife got COVID, so that messed everything up for a month. So I've been off with that, so I'm just getting back into it. So I'll show you the amp, the back panel and the amps, and then you'll get an idea of how all this is going to sort of like go together. So we'll go have a look at the back panel. So the back panel with the amps, flashing snap-on Christmas hat. Anyway, that's my joviality bit. What I've done is the back panel, I didn't want the amps in the car, I wanted to have it in a cooler place, and obviously because there's 3 of them, I just didn't just get in the way. So the boot was the best place for them to keep them cool, and it would look, I felt it would look better in the car, in the boot, just up on the back panel, which is going to cover the fuel tank. And like I say, everything is fastened into this, so this becomes a rigid, so it's folded in such a way that it's rigid, it's not just a flat panel, which then can hold the weight of the amps which are on it. So this is going to be covered in black vinyl. Now the wires that come, the main power leads and the RCAs and the speaker cables, they're all going to come from inside this, under this cover here. So there's a hole in there with a grommeting, or it will have, when it's all covered in black vinyl. The wires will come out here, so the main power cables will come onto this area here where it's feeding the amps. Once that's all done, I'm going to make an aluminium cover to go over. Now it will have like holes in it, so you can see into here. So you'll see the bits of components in here, and also the breaker is going to go here. So you'll see that, and then the RCA cables will come out and over onto the top. Now the RCA cables have to be kept away from the power cables, because apparently they pick up interference from those. You can get, as far as I understand, some shielded wires, RCA wires, but they're quite expensive. So I just got some normal RCA cables to go onto the amps. So this is my monoblock, and these 2 are for the component speakers which are in the car. So you've got a front set and a rear set. What I'm going to do is the screws that hold these down are going to be tapped. I'm not putting self-tapping screws in. It's going to have some M5 socketed bolts in there, which will be Loctited in. And what I'm going, this is 3mm Alley, and these plates are 3mm Alley. These plates, I've got a plate for every foot on the amp, and these are going to be, once the vinyl's in, these will be riveted down into position, and then they'll be drilled through from the back, and then they're going to be tapped out. So it'll be an M5 tap, and so all these plates of which I made will go onto the top. And I thought it'd be nice just to break all the black up in there with a little bit of silver, and just under the amps, because the amps are black as well. So they'll go on there, like I said, it'll all be screwed down and locked down, and then, like I said, it's covered with all the RCA cables out, and the speakers cables, well, the driver cables for the crossovers. I'm thinking of even putting the crossovers for the fronts on here, but I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to see. But yeah, this is how it's going to be. So if you come and have a look over at top so you can see a better idea of what the layout is, then we'll discuss that. Right, so giving you a better idea of what's here, like I said, the power cables will come through here. This is the earthing block, obviously. The earth come up to here, and the live power will come to here. This is, it says from 12 to 20, yeah, 12 to 20 millimeter square. This is 16 millimeter square earthen power for the main feeds, and then the smaller ones, I believe, are I think the 12, 10 or 12, but it falls into the remit. It says between 6 and 24 for these 2 amps here, and this has to stay at the main power cable input, which it says I think this was 24 maximum, and a lowest of something like 18 or something silly. So we're pretty much on, but it's not going to be driven hard. So I think this cable, the cable I have up to this monoblock amp is more than sufficient. So like I said, we've got the layout here. Try and keep it all tidy. It will all be fastened down. I'm going to have some nice little clips to fasten this all down and keep it all in place. I'm thinking of also putting I've got some clear cable wrap to wrap around, so I might do a bit of that as well, just to stop it moving around. You know, it'll just keep it all tidy. And then, like I said, it's going to have a plate platform here. Not sure how big yet, because it depends on all my bits and pieces that's going to come up here and move around, because it's just, all it is just to shield and make sure it's not in the way of all this stuff, because the RCAs plug into here, and then same way they come to the amp here, and there's an igniter cable to power everything up. So all that stuff is going to be on the top here, and it's just moving it all around and keeping it tidy, that's all. There's not a great deal of stuff on top of it. It's just nice to make this little platform and get it more level. And like I say, it might have the crossovers here for the front speakers, which is going to be in the door. I can't think of any other place in the front cabin area where I can put the super tweeter and the tweeter. The woofer's obviously in the door, but I think everything's going to be in the doors. I'm just going to make some paneling for that. So that's where we're at with this. I've not done anything more with any other interior bits at the moment. It doesn't need anything as such yet. The doors are going to be the thing, but this is where we are with it. So yeah, anyway, just grateful for all the positive comments you always are giving, and the interest that you've shown for the car. I hope that ultimately I can finish the car off, and that this country doesn't go to the wall as I think it's going to do. I know everybody's got their opinion, but I'm afraid for myself and my family what's going to go down. And so unfortunately I will move if it gets stupid and they force in mandate vaccinations and all the rest of the stupid stuff. It's already bad with the things that they're already doing. So that's where we're at. Like I said, thank you again for everything, you know, the comments and all that, and those people are following it. I really am grateful for all this, and like I say, every positive comment, even some of the comments that's been somewhat negative, which have not been many, I probably count it on one hand, it just has all been good. And the channel, when I started it, that's what I wanted to see if I could achieve that, and hopefully we can keep this running, and the country won't go to dogs, and I can, you know, move my family up to Scotland, and we can keep doing this. And like I say, I've got other things to do as well. I've got a 101 Land Rover which me and my son have been working on. I was going to start doing videos for that, for those that's into Land Rovers and four-wheel drive and all that sort of thing, so I was going to do that. And, but that looks like that's going to be ending. And like I say, I've got also another Mark II Jaguar, which was my sleeper. I have an engine, a rare Jaguar development engine, or at least I'm led to believe it, and it certainly does look like that. And the gentleman I got it off said he got it from a guy who worked at Jaguar Developments. That was going to go in the Jag, and we're going to play, but like I say, it depends. We'll just have to see. But this is where we are, and like I say, once again, thank you, and I'll keep you posted, and hopefully you will get way more videos, and we'll try and make them more interesting as we go on and make them more professional. Anyway, thanks a lot and take care, everybody. Right, just a quick insert onto the video which hopefully you've enjoyed and just watched. It's Christmas Eve. We've been trying to get this video put together for some time now, and for one thing or another we've messed up, but I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Let's hope this coming year things start to resolve into a manner of which it was before all these things that's been happening started, and that we'll be able to put our lives back into order, and we can move forward, all of us, especially me and my family, as we wish to move forward. So yeah, just Merry Christmas and a very Merry Happy New Year, and all the best for everybody, and like I say, take it steady.